Hello, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm RJ, that is Sean. Our third member, Trey, he decided that he was too cool for us today, so he didn't want to show up. No, he was busy, so you're stuck with Sean and I for this week. But still a lot to talk about. We'll start out as always talking about last week, and you know, it was a pretty good week of football. There were some fun games. There were some disappointing games. So let's kick right off. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Cardinals 20-12. Kind of a shocker to me anyway. I know Sean last week predicted that it was going to be a close game. I didn't realize that the 49ers actually had a chance, but sure enough.
They've been playing, they haven't given up on the season, They had every reason to, but they've been playing hard. So, yeah.
Well, the
I thought they might
Cardinals,
do well.
they're definitely going to have to pick it up if they want to. If they want a chance at the playoffs, they're going to have to beat the Rams next week, and I don't know anymore. After watching, after such an up and down season from the Cardinals, and especially after last week, I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah, the only blessing I see is, Rams are starting a rookie quarterback who's actually, I don't know, maybe works in the Rams' favor. I mean, are we done with Goff yet? I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point. I think that might be the Rams' biggest question mark is Jared Goff. So
Yeah.
who know? Maybe a Rams blowout might lose Goff his spot. That'd be interesting to see. I doubt it happens, but that'd be interesting to see. All right. So next game. The Dolphins beat the Las Vegas Raiders 26-25 down to the wire. Did you catch this one on TV?
I did not catch it on TV. I was decompressing after the Steeler game. I did not see that, but I think last week I did pick the Dolphins. I think I was only three of us to pick the Dolphins.
Yep.
I did say it was going to be a blowout. My God, so I got that wrong. But the Raiders are not a good team, man. They give up way too many points.
Yep, that's very true. But you know something? Credit to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Holy cow.
I always thought it was a mistake to go to Tua. And they were on a 3-game winning streak early on in the season. And they had a bye week and they went to Tua. He came in. Dolphins won a couple more games. He didn't really do anything in those couple more games. And then he came out with a quote saying, I thought being a quarterback in the NFL would be a lot harder. And I was like, oh my, did you really just say that, dude? Are you serious right now? And it got a lot harder for him. And he's been pulled a couple of times. And Fitzpatrick is a good quarterback. He's not the future, but
he's not winning enough games to be saying stuff like that.
No, he's not. His stats aren't good enough to be saying stuff like that.
It's something to think about. The Dolphins are still knee deep into the playoff run, and it's something to think about. Given that the Dolphins are pretty well going to lose this week, but given by some miracle that the Dolphins make the playoffs, maybe starting Fitzpatrick for the playoffs just because of experience and the fact that he's pulled him out of a couple close games. That'd be something I'd heavily consider if I'm the Dolphins coach.
If I'm going to the playoffs, I want a veteran
exactly.
quarterbacking my team. Yeah, I don't want a up and down rookie. So, I'd say put my veteran in there. You got a good defense. You got a good team around him. No,
Yeah.
I know the argument's going to be let's get Tua some playoff experience, and I can see that too because Dolphins aren't going to go far in the playoffs if they
No,
make the playoffs.
no, not at all.
Yeah, so,
Yeah. I mean, you really, it really doesn't matter either way. But I mean, if you're the Dolphins if you're looking for a win now situation, go for Fitzpatrick. But if you're looking for,
absolutely.
oh well, next year, then I guess Tua is the guy for that. Either way, I mean, there's no win situation for the Dolphins, but there's no lose situation either. Because I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like you can go either way with that argument, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with either side.
just
You know?
considering how
But
horrible
if you
they
get in the
were last year, and then seeing what they've done this year, I mean, that's already a win. That's already a win.
yeah, for the fan base, I think the fan base wants the playoffs.
Hmm.
So I think the fan base of the Dolphins, they haven't been in playoffs in a long time. I think the fans would like to see Fitzpatrick play. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Tua's fun and all. I like Tua, but uh, he's not ready. And that's fine. Normally rookies aren't ready, and that's fine. It normally takes a little bit, so that's all it is. Um, Next up, a sloppy game for the Chiefs, barely beating the Falcons 17-14. I mean,
I did watch a lot of that game. Wow, yeah, that was close, man.
that was horrible. I mean, my heart was pounding all day. Even after the game, I was like, "What?
Yeah,
What
I
happened?"
know the feeling.
I The Falcons. I mean, I understand they're better than what their record shows. They've got a team that they just need a few tweaks here and there, and they've got a good playoff
Few
team.
pieces, yeah.
But I mean, it's the
Yeah,
Kansas
I
City
mean,
Chiefs. I mean, what?
that ball should have been picked. The ball that was thrown right before the go ahead touchdown,
Yeah,
that ball was picked. I mean, he didn't come down with it. And
they.
then a guy who's like only missed one field goal all season
Mhm,
misses the one to tie it up.
mhm,
Like wow,
yeah,
but they found a way.
you know that. Um, what's the saying? It's very popular. I can't believe I live to fight another day. I guess I just you know. I mean, I guess a win is a win. Um,
You're gonna have those days. You're gonna have those days.
yeah, if you're the Chiefs, you just gotta forget about it. Move on to. You don't even have to worry about this week. Just start worrying about the second round of the playoffs.
They almost have a 2 week bye or 3 week bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at this point, it's like set Mahomes, sit Hill, set Kelsey. Just don't even. You're playing the Chargers, so I mean, even if you set those guys out, you still have a chance at the game. And
Yeah,
if you lose the game, you've already clinched everything, so it really doesn't matter. So
no.
I mean, yeah, it's really no biggie. It's really no biggie. At this point, it's boring to talk about the Chiefs because it's like, the Chiefs don't matter until the second round of the playoffs anymore. So
Well, that was a relevant game, though. I mean, if they would have lost, uh, did they have the number one seed going into that game?
yeah, they
Oh,
clinched. Yeah, they've been clinched. So
right.
yeah, so it's all right. But I will talk about another clinching. The Jaguars clinched the first overall pick with a Jets win over the Browns 23-16 last week. Yikes. Yikes. That's all I have
Yeah,
to say.
to me, props to the Jets for not giving up. They lost to the Raiders on the last play of the game. They've been in some games. They haven't quit. Um, You know, they need a lot to happen next year to be relevant, but the coach isn't going to be back. They already said they're going to fire him.
Yep.
Um, but to me, I mean, the Browns didn't have the first 4 wide receivers, and I've been
Yeah.
saying this for a while now. I've been advocating going to the bubble even like 2 weeks before the end of the season. To
Mhm.
me, it's a shame that the Browns, who probably are a good enough team to make it in the playoffs, might not make it in the playoffs
Exactly.
because of COVID. You know,
Yep.
and we were talking about this a few weeks ago. Integrity of the game, and it just baffles me why they're not going to the bubble before the playoffs. It's infuriating me, actually. It's really making me angry. You can't have a situation like that. What if the Browns did make the playoffs, and we'll just never know if they could have won the game, or God forbid, what if Mahomes gets sick during the playoffs, and
Exactly.
they get knocked off, and we'll never
Yep.
know if they could repeat
Yep.
it. It's too dangerous. I thought they would have learned their lesson, a few weeks ago with the Ravens, and even early on in the season against the Titans. And it I just don't understand why they're not going to the bubble. Every other major sport did it,
Yeah.
and to me, it's a shame that the Browns lost that game. You know,
It's pretty sad. Like it is pretty sad because you're talking about the Browns possibly missing the playoffs. Well, I mean, I the Browns are just. I mean, I would much rather watch the Browns in the playoffs than the Dolphins. I mean, no offense to the Dolphins, but
me too.
the Browns
Yeah,
are just more fun to watch, and it's a shame that we couldn't get that figured out quicker.
absolutely. Yeah, me being a Steeler fan, I mean, the Browns haven't been in the playoffs. I mean, the Dolphins haven't been in the playoffs in a while either, but the Browns, it's been like what, like 17 years or something.
Been bad.
It's crazy. Um, and that's a good team there. That's a good team in Cleveland. And it's a shame. You know,
And you bring it up. I mean, Cleveland has not been 100% all year. I mean, early on the season they were missing Miles Garrett, and then about halfway through the season losing Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, this is a fun Browns
yeah,
team, and they're not even 100%. So
right. Yeah.
you know that they're really fun. They're really fun. A team that maybe next year we might have to watch out for if they make the right. They need a couple tweaks here and there, like most teams, just a couple tweaks here and there, but they're a really fun team to watch.
If the Steelers didn't make the playoffs, I would be rooting for the Browns to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's I'd be. Yeah, I'd be rooting for them to win it all.
So
Uh,
you brought up the Steelers a couple times there, so I'm going to bring up the Steelers Colts 28-24. Score was really really close. I picked Trey and I both picked the Colts last week, and we were wrong.
well, I predicted the Steelers would have James Conner back and get the running game going and go off play action pass. That didn't happen. um, that first half, I had actually go out to watch the game at a bar, which with Jordan, and that didn't make either of us very happy. But man, that first half, I was fit to be tied, man, and I was
Hmm.
going nuts. Um, and I've been saying this for most of the season. The play calling for the Steelers has been horrible. It's only when Ben ignores the play calls, and in the second half he just did what he wanted to, and the Steelers were lucky enough that the defense held, and they were able to come back on that one.
Hmm.
But I'm being impartial here when I say one half of football in the last 4 games doesn't mean the Steelers are back. Uh,
Yep,
you know,
you're right.
Colts are a good team.
Hmm.
Very good team. Uh, but yeah, I'm not. I'm not convinced. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
on the Steelers yet.
I've been doubtful for the Steelers all year. I'm not bought in on the Steelers. Definitely still not. But I mean, give credit. I mean, that was a good team that they beat, and that was a good win. That was a must win. They needed that. They got
Must win.
it.
Yeah, it really was.
So I mean, credit
Yeah.
to them. But I'm with you. I don't. I don't trust them yet. Um, you're gonna have to blow out the Browns in order for me to be like, okay, I'm back. I'm back with you, Steelers. But that's just my
Well,
opinion.
Rothenberg's not going to play, and Tomlin's been uncommittal about who else is not going to play. Um, but the Browns are depleted, really depleted. Still, they had to put a few more guys on the COVID list today.
Yep.
Uh, it should be an interesting game. It should be a close game. I'm not sure, who the Steelers play, and but Tomlin usually he's a big integrity of the game guy, so he's probably going to give it his all, but he's going to rest the guys he has to rest. I mean, he
My
has to.
my two Cowboys are gonna blow up next game and run all
Yeah,
over.
like Washington and Rudolph.
We're gonna
You know
they're
what?
gonna run all over the Browns next week.
Last season when Rudolph was starting, him and Washington, obviously they go back to OSU.
Yeah.
They have a good connection, and Washington's a good wide receiver. It really is.
Yeah.
So that's a good prediction. I like it. I'm with you.
Yep. They were fun to watch in college. Now obviously they went off to Pittsburgh and I'm not a Steelers fan, so I missed them out, but diehard OSU fan, never missed one of their games in college, and they've always been, I'm not that old, so I haven't seen too many OSU quarterbacks, but even watching highlights and stuff, Mason Rudolph's still my favorite OSU quarterback. So
If Rudolph doesn't get hurt
mhm.
for that last game against the Ravens last season, I think the Steelers win that game.
Yeah,
He was up and down. I think, got a little too overconfident because he had some nice games early on
yeah,
when he filled in for Ben, and then I think he got a little overconfident and he started throwing balls that he shouldn't have been throwing,
yeah.
turned into a pickoff machine. But when he got his job back, he came back and played pretty well, and then got hurt. That was that.
So last game of last week, we'll I mean, yeah, we'll predict that game here in a couple minutes, but last game of the last week, Packers, man, they just hammered the Titans, 40-14. Um, you know,
Yeah.
if you already know I was on the Packers bandwagon, but I mean, if I wasn't before, I'm even more on it now. Um, this is exactly what the Packers should have been all year, and I think they're going to carry it through.
You want to be playing your best ball going into the playoffs, and they're playing really well.
Yep.
I think it was neck and neck going into this last week for who's going to be MVP, and Rodgers played a better game than Mahomes did last
Yeah.
week.
No,
And
no question. No question.
honestly, I think Mahomes has a better team around him than Rodgers does. Rodgers is one of those rare quarterbacks that can just put a team on his shoulders.
Yep.
This season, he's got some pieces around him, but I've seen him take a team that was horrible deep into the playoffs just on him.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, man. He's
Yeah, I might just be, I mean, this, I've been on the Packers all year, and even though loyal Chiefs fan, I might have to say Rodgers has jumped in front of Mahomes easily. I mean, Mahomes had a tough week last week. The Packers, who were not supposed to be top of the NFC, are now top of the NFC. No, I think that's pretty safe to say.
Is there anyone else even in the conversation for MVP? Anybody else snuck in there in your eyes?
I mean, before he got hurt, Drew Brees, obviously, but then he got hurt. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I
so
don't see anyone else.
so at this point, it's Mahomes and Rodgers,
Yeah.
and that's about it. We'll see. I'm actually leaning towards Aaron Rodgers. Not that I want him to win, but that I think Aaron Rodgers is going to pull it out.
Yeah. He'll probably play this weekend. Mahomes probably won't too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have no problem handing it to Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fuss either way.
What about that Rams Seahawks game? I mean, come on, man.
I don't.
It's, okay, can we stop with the NFC West as the toughest division? I mean, the AFC North is the
Yeah,
toughest division. You got 3 teams that might make it, and
easily.
they're all good teams.
Yeah, and you never know which one is gonna show up. You never know.
Yeah, it is.
It's because on any given week, they're all contenders, like real
Yeah.
contenders. And then
Mm-hmm.
any next week, they're as bad as any other team in the league. It just
Yeah,
makes no sense to me.
it's frustrating. None.
It 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 makes this part of the sport a lot more fun.
You know what? That's the great thing about football. There's parity. And that's why the NFL took off many years ago because a lot of reasons, salary cap, revenue sharing, but they created a situation where there's parity in the league, and any team can beat any team.
And it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Football is just you gotta love it. You gotta.
Yep. Absolutely.
Is there any other games you want to talk about from last week?
Um, what was I thinking? Wait, who did Washington play last week?
The Redskins. The Panthers. They lost to the Panthers.
You know what? That's it. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's a shame about Alex Smith. I kind of
Yeah.
want to talk about him for a second.
Yeah.
I got to see him up close when he beat the Steelers, and I said to myself, at the time they had won like 3 in a row. They went on to win like 5 in a row, I think. Uh, Alex Smith, good quarterback, and they had a good team around him. And I think if he stays healthy, Washington absolutely wins that division outright, and they could have upset someone in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a shame that, and Dwayne Haskins, what a disaster that guy is.
How
That guy
stupid.
doesn't get it. Yeah,
Stupid.
he's officially been let go.
Yep.
He lost 2 weeks ago and then went to a strip club without proper. Well, I don't know if any production is good enough at a strip club, but he doesn't get it. He just doesn't understand what it takes. So they've
Yeah,
officially moved on from him.
it's a sad deal because Haskins was a talented quarterback in college anyway, and he was starting to. I mean, he showed a little bit in the pros every now and then, but it's a shame that people have to go out and act like that. But yeah, I mean, Washington has shown signs of actually wanting to win a bit all season long.
Yeah,
And the Alex Smith story, it's a great story, and it's a shame he has to go through this again. It's just a shame.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, yeah, I think that covers it for me.
All right, well then I'm going to move on to next week. We already talked about the Cardinals Rams. The Cardinals must win to make the playoffs. That's that's that. That's the only game I didn't write the spread on. Do you have the plus minus for that one?
Not my fingertips. Not. I can bring it up here. Um, all right, which game are we talking now?
Cardinals at Rams.
All right. There it is. It's a 3-point spread.
Who's under?
Uh, Cardinals are -3.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it. The Cardinals, get definitely having Kyler Murray, and the Rams without Jared Goff. We were talking about, the Rams might be a better team without Jared Goff, but I mean, that's a safe prediction to say that the Cardinals beat the Rams with Kyler Murray. I think that's safe.
Um, yeah, at this point, I kind of hate the Rams. I mean, I'm I would take the Cardinals in this one, the -3. Out of that whole division, I mean, I know we talked about the Cardinals being inconsistent. The Rams, I think, had more expected of them this season, and week to week, you just don't know. And
It's pretty sad. And once
they
again,
got a first-time starter too. First-time starter.
yeah, yeah. But who knows? Maybe that'll be their saving grace. Who knows? But no, I don't think so. But Rams fans can hope. So anyway, the Dolphins are at Buffalo this week. Buffalo's favored by 1.5 points. That's generous.
Is is Buffalo going to play their people? I mean, I know they kind of want to beat the Dolphins, but it's kind of like a Steelers Browns situation. You know, do you play your guys? I mean, there's not much difference between the 2 seed and the 3 seed this season. So,
There's really no
is
need.
Buffalo going to play their guys?
There's
Huh?
really no need though. You know,
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, are they even going to play their guys?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless you're the sixth, seventh seed in the playoffs, nobody should play their guys. Nobody should
Yeah,
play their main guys unless you're literally about to lose your spot.
yeah. So, why is it only 1 point and a half spread?
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, in favor of
I,
Buffalo.
right. I think. I mean, kind of think the Dolphins, don't you? I mean, they got to win to get in. Buffalo doesn't care.
Maybe, especially if they put Fitzpatrick in, that would be nice. I would love to see that. Um, I really like the Buffalo Bills. They're a good team, and they are well deserving of everything they're getting. But I mean, sit everybody out. There's no reason. I mean, you can at this point, the Bills might be favorites to be, I mean, not to beat the Chiefs, but they might easily make the NFC championship game. So, not NFC, AFC championship game. So there's no
Yeah,
reason.
I really can't. I really can't say anything bad about the Bills.
Yeah.
Uh, I saw them up close. uh, yeah, they're scary as anybody right now.
Yep.
They're playing good.
Um, I just got a notification from the NFL. It officially Patrick Mahomes is sitting out for Week 17. So
Who is it?
Patrick
Allen?
Mahomes. Patrick
Oh,
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that we knew they were going to do that anyway. But I mean, breaking news. No. Okay. So next game I want to talk about Steelers at Browns. Cleveland's favored by 10. In case you were wondering,
10?
10. Yeah.
I did not see that. Wow. Uh, even with all the receivers, they have a bunch of guys on the COVID.
Yep.
Wow. That's 10. I'm not saying that they're not going to win, but 10? That seems excessive. That
I
seems like a
agree.
lot of points, man.
I'm going to tell you what it is. They always hate on Oklahoma State. I don't care. I don't care what it is. They always hate on Oklahoma State. And I swear to you that it's only because Mason Rudolph is starting.
Well, we're gonna see how he responds to his first starts. You know, against the Browns since the helmet incident.
I say he runs all over him. I mean that might be my upset of the week. I mean, not only are the Steelers going to cover the spread, I think the Steelers are going to beat the Browns in Cleveland.
It's one of those AFC North games. I'm sure the Steelers would love to kick them out of the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah,
so
I
10's
certainly do.
excessive.
I think it's an easy cover, but I think outright the Steelers are going to take that game. That'll be my upset.
Probably got some issues on their offensive line too, and unless all the receivers come back, I mean, you just load up against the run.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. They've got a talented run game, but
Yeah.
it's hard to rely solely on the run. It's hard to do that unless you're the Titans, and even then, they don't have to rely. They just can. They can if they want to. All right. So anyway, next up, got some NFC East showdowns to end the season. The Washington Redskins will play in Philadelphia. Washington is favored by 1.5. This game's interesting because if Washington loses and the Cowboys, who are playing the Giants, by the way, and the Cowboys come out and beat the Giants, the Cowboys make the playoffs and steal that spot from Washington.
Do you know if Jones is playing for the Giants this week?
Who?
Jones for the Giants.
Oh, as far as I know,
I like Jones. I like the Giants. Cowboys are going to disappoint. Cowboys, every year they dangle it out there, and every year they just disappoint. I'm not taking the Cowboys in that one.
you know, I don't know. I think I don't know. I despise the Dallas Cowboys. I think they are not good. I mean, they're obviously not good, but I've never liked the Dallas Cowboys. But I cannot get over how stupid the Washington Redskins were this offseason about their name change and stuff like that. I still can't get over it. So, part of me just wants to say, I don't want a team called the football team making the playoffs. That's just, I mean,
They're thinking about keeping the name too.
and that is absolutely ridiculous. I was against them changing the name to begin with, and then you have to come out and name it the Washington Football Team. But anyway, I don't get me started. Don't get me started. But I've been on Jalen Hurts. I've been on Jalen Hurts this whole time, and he really upset me last week against the Cowboys. But I think he can bounce back, and I think Jalen, especially with Alex Smith being hurt, I think Philadelphia can beat Washington, and with how bad the Cowboys beat Philadelphia last week, I don't think it's too outlandish to say that they can beat the Giants.
I agree with you about the Washington only because they're going to be down to their third string quarterback.
Yeah, in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Yep.
Right. But you know what? I got to go with the Giants against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So okay, what's the scenario there? Giants beat the Cowboys, and Philly beats Washington. Who wins?
Well,
Who goes?
from what I can tell, Washington already has the tiebreaker. So
Oh yeah.
as if the playoffs started today, Washington has the fourth seed. So if they both lose, I guess Washington keeps the fourth seed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That that'd be pretty bad that two 6-10 teams make the uh are eligible for the playoffs. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, they got to go. Well, they don't need to, but I think the seeding option is should be really considered.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need to get rid of the division. They need to get rid of the division rules, I think.
Yeah. Just go to a straight seeding,
Yeah, or even, I mean, no, yeah, straight seating, and maybe, I hate that the first seed has to have a bye. I mean, I understand it's nice to have a rest and stuff like that, but I mean, the reason they're the one seed is because they're the best team in football, and if they're the best team in football, they'll be fun to watch, and I think
Yeah, you want to see him, right?
you want to see the best team in football play. So
And it's not like teams have to play 3 games to get the Super Bowl don't win the Super Bowl. It happens all the time.
right.
Steelers did it, Giants did it, Ravens did it.
Hmm.
Teams do it all the time.
The
They're
Titans
the
almost
last
did it.
seed and have to play 3 games.
The
Right.
Titans almost did it last
So
year.
and I agree. Like because the Steelers have to play 3 games now, I'm almost excited. I get to watch them 3 times. They play
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, I still, as no matter how much I hate the Cowboys, I last week against Philadelphia, they showed up big. They might do it again. I'll pick the Cowboys, and I'm picking Philadelphia. I'm picking the Cowboys to make the playoffs just because I think Philadelphia is going to beat Washington.
I hate the Cowboys so much.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
They've got a lot of decisions. We'll talk about that maybe next week, but
Yeah.
Cowboys have a lot of decisions to make.
Oh my gosh, I have a lot to say about that. So yeah, let's talk about that next
Say
week.
that.
We'll mark that down on the agenda right after the recap. Talk about Cowboys. Yeah. All right. So is there any other games for next week that you want to talk about?
um,
I was looking through and I was like, there's really nothing huge. There's really nothing huge on next week.
yeah, Titans, Colts. Yeah, there's a lot of Colts against the Jaguars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Titans against Texans. Yeah. Who do we like, the Colts or the Titans, to win that division? They can both make it, I think.
Well, they're tied right now, and if I remember correctly, the Titans? Do the Titans have the tiebreaker?
Well, the first tiebreaker is head to head, and they went 1-1 against each other. Second tiebreaker is all right. Tennessee clinches the division if they win.
So I mean, head to head, I like Tennessee. I mean, I think a head to head in the playoffs, I'm taking Tennessee, but I think they both easily win. I think they both easily win. So
Yeah, I do too.
so it's pretty safe to say Tennessee's going to take that division.
Yeah, they own the tiebreakers.
Yeah. Well, I know we're running pretty long on time. I just want to touch up on some college football, some bowl games real quick. There were a couple last night, and then there are a few throughout this week that just the big ones I want to talk about. So last night, the Alamo Bowl, Texas
Wait,
plus
wait, wait.
Colorado. Wait, what?
Texas looked good. Didn't surprise me.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another team that played last night?
Of
What was that
importance.
other game? Didn't your Cowboys play last night?
Oh yeah, and we won. By the way, if you didn't watch it,
Yes.
it was too close, too close. in my opinion. I'm really mad at Mike Gundy. I'm really mad at Mike Gundy. He he disappointed me this year. The Cowboys disappointed me this year. We were up 21-0. We scored 21 points in the first quarter. Oh my god. And win by 3. That's
against their backup quarterback, right? King wasn't
yeah.
playing.
Yeah, against a backup quarterback. That's sad. That's just pathetic. But either way, a win's a win. A win's a win.
I mean, they had a I from where I'm standing, they had a nice season. I can see from where you're standing how frustrated you'd be.
Well, all right. So last year, I mean, I'm looking at it this year. Preseason comes out. We have the best defense in the Big 12. Okay, we have the leading rusher in all of college football returning. We have the best wide receiver in college football returning. We have the offensive freshman of the year from the Big 12 returning at quarterback. I mean, so on paper, that's an easy 11-0 season, and we win out on paper. On paper. And we come out, lose to an unranked Texas team, get blown out in Bedlam.
Yeah,
There was there was
that's
another
unacceptable.
there was another there was another loss that we took that was that I
Oh,
know I know we shouldn't have.
was it like Iowa or something? Or Indiana?
We beat Iowa State. That's the stupid thing is we beat Iowa State. We lost to Texas and we lost to OU, and either way there was one more loss in there somewhere, and that's just so disappointing. I mean, on paper we were the best team in the Big 12. Didn't even make the championship game. So just
Yeah,
ridiculous. Sad.
did better than my Bruins.
Do what?
Did better than my UCLA Bruins.
Yeah. Yeah, they're struggling a little bit. They're struggling a little bit. Give them a couple years. All right, so tonight, Cotton Bowl's tonight. OU and Florida. OU is favored by a whopping 7.5 points.
You see, I love Kyle Trask. I do, and
Heisman finalist.
yeah, I think just by the numbers, you got to give it to him. I feel like there's a couple quarterbacks in the championship game that kind of played their way back into the conversation. Trevor and
Mac Jones.
that, yeah, Jones. Okay, let me regress a little bit or digress. Ohio State to me has like almost 3 Heisman Trophy candidates.
Yeah.
Man, that wide receiver, uh, Devontae and Jones and
Alabama.
Harris.
Alabama. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know how you stop that team. I hope someone does, but
You don't. You don't. You don't.
anyways, I
Frustrating.
digress. So let's get back to Florida and OU.
Go Gators.
I love. Yeah, I'm going Gators.
Yep.
I like Kyle Trask.
I can't stand OU, and so I'm being a little biased, but even if I wasn't biased, a Florida's had a heck of a season and just a little more impressive than OU, I think. All right, so
I hope so. Yeah, and they're getting 7.5. Wow.
yeah, OU favored by 7.5. Yeah, yep. I don't think so. So next one, the Peach Bowl is on Friday at 11 in the morning. Georgia is favored by 7 points over the powerhouse Cincinnati. Um, I think that's an easy Uga runaway. Easy, easy.
I've got a chance to watch Cincinnati a few times. It's ran away for who?
Georgia. Georgia's going to run away
I
with.
just don't trust Georgia.
I just don't trust Cincinnati. I mean, I've watched. Now I'm not a Cincinnati fan. I've only watched them a couple times, but the couple times I watched them, it was games like the Central Florida game. They could have easily lost that Central Florida game, and it was Central Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
they're and they didn't face any big teams this year, really. I mean, they didn't really face any big teams this year, so I just do not trust Cincinnati against Georgia. Yeah, I'm taking Georgia by way more than 7. Ah,
I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going with Cincinnati.
nice. All right. All right. Well, that's Friday at 11 in the morning. That'll be a fun one to watch. But later that day starts the playoffs. Friday at 3, Alabama is favored by 19 and a half over Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. That's easy. I think that's safe. I think Alabama easily
Um,
wins by 20.
Notre Dame totally let me down against Clemson.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too. Me too.
um, and Alabama, like we just touched on, I don't know. I don't know how you stop that offense. I
Nope.
just don't.
No.
And I don't think Notre Dame has enough firepower to stick with them offensively.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, if Notre Dame would have beat Clemson, I might have been saying, but no.
Yeah.
I, Bama's favored by 19 and a half, and I'm saying they beat the spread. I think they win by more than 19 and a half.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I would love to see it come out different, but it ain't gonna.
So then later that night, the All-State Sugar Bowl at 7 o'clock. Clemson's favored by 7.5 over Ohio State. I think that one's going to be closer than 7.5.
Really,
I think that's going to
I
be down to the wire, last second Hail Mary. Honestly,
I'm predicting a blowout for Clemson. I am not sold on Ohio State. They played two kind of tough teams this season, and they took them down to the wire. There was tough games, and now they're facing Clemson. It's only what 7.5.
7.5.
I like Clemson a lot in that game.
I'm taking Ohio State. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying they'll win. I think this game will go either way, but I think 7.5 is generous for Clemson. I th- I could easily I
Even
could
after what they
easily
did in Notre Dame.
I could easily see this being a 1, 2, 3 point game. I don't have a problem with that.
Interesting. You see, I think if Notre Dame played Ohio State, Notre Dame would beat Ohio State. So
You
if
think
you trot
Notre
that
Dame would
thinking,
beat
I
Ohio
gotta go.
State?
Yeah,
Really?
I am not sold on Ohio State. Yeah, they
Wow,
played
I can tell.
Northwestern. Northwestern nearly pulled off an upset. Indiana nearly got them, and those teams aren't even that good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see it, but I mean, I really like Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a really nice at quarterback. I don't know. I think Ohio State's pretty talented, even though they haven't been the blowout team they were last year. I think they're still pretty impressive.
Fields had a, I'm not saying really bad game against Northwestern, but he didn't impress. He played himself right out of the Heisman Trophy race,
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're right about that, but I don't see him doing that on Friday. I think he steps up in the spotlight on Friday.
Wow. All right then.
All right, so there's two more I want to talk about, and then we got skedaddle. But the Fiesta Bowl is on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Iowa State is favored by 4 against number 25 Oregon. The great Pac-12 champion Oregon. Iowa State's favored by 4.
I'm gonna go strictly on just because gotta stick up for my Pac-12, and I gotta go with the divas in the uniforms, the new uniforms every game. I'm going with Oregon. Yeah.
I'm going with Iowa State. For the same reason you're going with Oregon. I got to stick with the Big 12. Iowa State gave OU a run for their money, and the refs that game were absolutely horrible. If the refs were if the refs weren't biased, Iowa State would have won that game. So I'm going with Iowa State beating Oregon by more than four.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta go. God, I hate the fact that I gotta root for the Ducks. It makes me angry.
So are you choosing them just because of their uniforms? Is that what it is?
I am choosing them despite their uniforms.
All right, so the last game, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but the last game, the Orange Bowl, North Carolina plays Texas A&M. Texas A&M's favored by 7.5. That Texas A&M is going to beat North Carolina by double digits. I mean, why is North Carolina in a BCS bowl? That's ridiculous.
They had a nice team. I wouldn't even go so far to say a good team. It was nice in North Carolina. No, that's a basketball school. They're not a football
Yeah,
school.
right.
So yeah, I don't understand. Texas A&M is gonna roll them.
Oh yeah, Texas A&M got snubbed. I mean, they should have been in the Cotton Bowl. They should have been in the Cotton Bowl. They could have been in the Peach Bowl, and
Yeah,
there's a chance that they should have played Bama instead of Notre Dame playing Bama. You know.
I, I I say they should have played Clemson instead of Ohio State.
Well,
That's how
yeah,
much.
but either way, Texas A&M got snubbed bad. They had a good season, and having to play in the Orange Bowl against what is North Carolina 14 or 15? That's sad.
Yeah,
So
that's no.
that's a blowout. A&M wins. The I mean, is there any arguments?
No, they're gonna roll them.
Yeah, all day. All right. Yeah. So that was football this week and next week. Next Wednesday we'll talk about the bowl games and get ready to hear a lot of criticism over the Dallas Cowboys next week, and we'll also talk about the NFL playoffs. So until then, I hope you had a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a very Happy New Year. And please like, please subscribe, please comment if you have anything to say. And until next week, have a good week.